Hello, people. I am Jaby. This is Syntell. Straight Outta Compton. You just saw it last night.
I saw Straight Outta Compton and it was dope.
You liked it?
I liked it. It was good.
One of the things I said in my review was I wasn't going in for the music. I was going in more for the history and the story and the acting. I didn't realize that was Ice Cube's son.
And he did a stand-up job, right? He looked the part. He sounded the part.
Right.
He had the mannerisms down. But then again, he should. I mean, he's his son. He's been hanging around him for, what, 20 plus years. If anybody should have that character down, it should be his son.
Yeah, but could you pull off imitating your dad at that level?
At that level, as an actor, as a fellow thespian, I think I could do an alright job with my pops. I mean, I've got years, decades of material to pull back from.
Yeah, but like I couldn't. Not me and my dad look very different, but like I couldn't. I don't think I could pull that off. Imitating his voice, imitating his manner. I mean, maybe his mannerisms and the way he walks, but not his voice. Like he got his voice down.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just got his voice naturally.
But he also had like a considerable amount of time to prepare. Plus, he had the resources of Ice Cube to probably get him one of the best acting coaches money can buy.
Right.
Plus time.
Right.
So that's enough time to shape and mold and knock off the rough edges if it's not spot on.
I'm pretty sure his acting wasn't that good initially.
Oh, I'm sure it was probably
like because he went through like a 2-year process just for that role. Because they wouldn't give it to him right away.
Well, I'm sure he had to earn it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a multi-million-dollar movie with a lot of people investing their time, money, resources, and all that. And they're not going to just... Because he was a major character.
Right.
And you're not going to just give it to somebody just because of who they are. I mean, you don't want to, like, mess up the project in general. And F. Gary Gray, from all the movies I've seen him direct, all of it is very professionally well done. It's not none of that Chitlin Circuit... shucking and jiving kind of stuff that you would see from some other type of directors when it's dealing with a film like this.
What else has he done? I don't know his movies.
Oh my gosh, Set It Off was a big one. That was really good.
I didn't see that.
You've seen Friday, of course.
I've seen parts of Friday. I've seen Money Talks.
The Italian Job.
Oh, he did the Italian Job.
I mean he's got a pretty good long list of good solid films.
Did you like the Italian Job? I didn't like the Italian Job.
It was alright. To me, I think it was one of his weaker films, and that's saying a lot because it was still a relatively, good movie for what it was.
Yeah,
but that movie could have gone so horribly bad in so many different ways.
Yeah.
It was just, to me, it was like the Doomsday movie. When you heard about it was coming out, and it's like, oh, N.W.A, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And then they told us who the director was gonna be, and it's like, okay.
It's got potential.
It could be okay, and then you see it, and then you're like, bravo, well done, bravo.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I found really cool is that because it's like you could just listen to the music, but you got the music in context with everything that was happening at the time, and it's like you can't just like you put on the Beatles right now, and you can kind of imagine what that is relative to its time,
right? But
seeing it in context with the events going on, that's cool. Like how else would you get that? Like that was I don't know if you could ask for much more. Yeah,
especially with the climate, with how the police are interacting with our citizens today. Right. This movie is like right on time. I felt the same way with Selma when it first came out. Okay. I'm like, with the political climate the way that it is, this movie, even though it happened in the 60s, it speaks relevance to today. Yeah. And Straight Outta Compton, as far as just the element of how the police were treating people in the community back then, is relevant to today.
Yeah.
So you can kind of understand why the music sounded the way it did, why there was anger in it, why why people feel the way that they do about the police.
Yeah, I appreciated that a lot because as a kid, I didn't understand the point of all that music. I thought these guys were just trying to be badass, perpetuating negative ideas. I didn't know what it was about because I didn't have context. I was shielded from all that as a kid.
Now here's the problem. Now, the movie is good, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but this is, revisionist history. So there is an element of N.W.A that did want to just be bad.
Of course.
Smacking bitches and let me sell this dope and fuck the police and all that. Now, the movie does a very good job of putting a positive spin on niggas with attitudes. All right, let's not try and shine up some shit more than it is. It does a very good job and it's very well done, but let's not be mistaken either that the music was very misogynistic. It was hyper violent, and yes, it was a peek into the window of what their life is. And living in Compton in that time period was a rough neighborhood. It was. But not every single black person had that exact experience.
Right, of course.
In the neighborhood. It was a common thing, but
my issue with gangster music has always been, it's like these guys are putting on a show and most people don't realize it.
Right, it's for entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Most people don't realize this is a costume they've got on. They're not gangsters. They're not in the streets. I mean, they grew up in the hood, but it's not like real life gangsters with guns who are slinging dope and whatnot. It's like that's a very different lifestyle.
Yeah, and they kind of address it too, because especially with the scene on the school bus,
right?
With Ice Cube, I don't want to have any spoilers, because Ice Cube is just a student at a high school. He happens to be on the school bus, and a pivotal moment happens on there.
Yeah,
you know, so he might not have been, you know, tattooed up with the tears and throwing whatever red or blue scarf that he had, but like Nas, who's another hip hop artist, he's known for looking out of his window and street reporting on what he sees. It's kind of like what Cube is doing as well. Yeah. And Cube also embodies like a character per se. Cube wasn't killing nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure he probably was selling drugs or some of the violent fights and stuff that happens in the movie and all. But like the Tony Montana, Scarface, shoot them all up stuff. That's bravado.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But then people listen to that and they try to employ that, and that's my problem.
Well, see, that's the damaging part about that, about the music as well.
Right.
But it still happens now.
Right.
You know, so it was just touchy, and you didn't really want to talk about it back then because who was saying it at the time that it was being said? And we're in the middle of the war on drugs.
Right.
You know, African Americans in the hood were public enemy #1.
Right.
And now you've got this group that's coming out here that's not only, you know, pushing back which how you feel about them, but then throwing the middle finger up and saying fuck authority too on top of it, and they're famous.
Right.
So that's what made them so, you know, provocative.
All right, cool. So that's our discussion on Straight Outta Compton. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for Good Thing, Bad Thing. Peace out.
Yeah. I can always tell when you want me to speed up. You're like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll get to the point. Shit.
Yeah. Okay.